All right, in case you're just now finding out, Scott Frost has been dismissed at Nebraska. Here's Trev Alberts, the athletic director, on why it was the right time to make the decision.
At this point, I just felt like, as I mentioned earlier, we owed it to the players, to give them a different voice, perhaps slightly different vision, give them some confidence and opportunity. We've got 9 games. We've got seniors on this team that have invested a lot for a long time. And I know how disruptive these changes are. You're not just affecting the player's life, you're affecting all the coaches and their family, and I understand that. But we needed to do something. We needed to inject something into this team to give them the confidence and hopefully help them compete.
All right, as far as what it means to the team right now, Mickey Joseph, he's the associate head coach. He'll take over as the interim here in the near term. Look, this was inevitable. I kind of understand why you do it right now, but I also think that if you're going to do it 3 games in, why wouldn't you just do it at the end of last season? I mean, it just, to me, it reeks of desperation in a lot of ways, but at the same time, that's kind of where Nebraska's at. And I understand, too. I mean, how many different ways can you lose heartbreakers? Nebraska has lost 10 straight one-score games to close out Scott Frost's tenure. And, of course, you allow an 8-yard touchdown with 36 seconds left to fall to 1-2 on the season. And that was snapped a streak of 214 straight victories for Nebraska when scoring 35 or more points at home. It also pushed Scott Frost to 5-22 in one-score games. Now, here's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm sure that there's some type of understanding because they fired him on September 11th, obviously. But now they're required to pay him $15 million. We know that if it had waited until October 1st, that buyout would be cut by 50%. So what does it mean? You basically cost yourself an additional $7.5 million by getting rid of him now, as opposed to letting him twist in the wind for a few more weeks, than doing it after October 1st. But either way, what I want to see here moving forward, man, for Nebraska, I don't know who you get. I'm not sure what you do. But I think we've just realized that this is a very difficult place to win right now. And I wish it wasn't. I'm as much a fan of Nebraska as you guys are. I grew up in the 90s just like y'all. I'd love to see Nebraska back. I think it'd be great for college football. But right now, as far as proximity is concerned, when you look at the players that are in your state or the players that surround your state, the talent's just not there to field a nationally competitive roster. You got to go elsewhere, and it's really, really difficult nowadays to be able to do that. I also think, too, playing in the Big Ten in a lot of ways has hurt Nebraska. They used to lean heavily into that Texas pipeline where a lot of kids from the state of Texas would go to Nebraska knowing that they would stay in the Big 12. So I don't blame them for doing what they had to do. Look at the strength of the Big Ten versus the strength of the Big 12. Ultimately, financially, it's a much better destination to be aligned with the Big Ten. But either way, it's hard to really deny the fact that Nebraska, since joining the Big Ten, has been a shell of itself. I think there's a lot of reason to believe that it would be in their best interest to maybe go back to running the triple option. I think it'd make sense to go in that direction. But I also think, too, I think this is still a place in the NIL era where you can win. It's just you got to make sure that you have the right guy in charge, because it clearly was not the case with Scott Frost over the last 4+ years.